Hello and welcome back to the channel where I try to do a card or paper crafting or something fun each time I come into my craft room. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope that if you are enjoying what I'm doing on the channel, you won't mind subscribing or at least giving it a like or something, and we can get on with it. Okay, so today I am going to attempt to make a Valentine's Day card for one of my grandchildren. So what I have here, I have this lovely Tim Holtz robots, and this is for my granddaughter. My granddaughter, I think, would like this. I saw this a while back. I did see that May had something similar with robots on her channel, but I bought this one and I already had this idea in mind before I saw hers. I like these. I was thought about just making each one a different robot, but I liked this guy because of the circle. This will be the base that will go on there. I might need to cut it down. I got this in a one of those grab baggy things where you pay an amount and you get something, and this was through Kindred Stamps. And I really like it because it's candy, for one thing. Who doesn't like candy? But it goes with my theme for this card. So I'm going to give this two-step stenciling a try on here because I like that idea. I'm going to use these little shaker bits with some hearts in them. And I'm going to use one of these flat back embellishments. I plan on using this circle from Tim Holtz, which makes a dome, because that's the easiest way to make a shaker card. And this particular granddaughter has been known to be a little rough on cards, so I'm trying to make sure it won't be. She's 2, so, you know. I do have these pieces from, I'm not using that one, Lawn Fawn, and these I bought in a D-stash of a crafter. And what I'm using is the smallest size of the stitch circle and the smallest size of the lift the flap circle. So we're going to do 2 things with that, I hope. Again, this is one of those things where I hope it comes out. So stay with me, and when I come back, we'll get started on making this card. All right, so now you're inside my spray box. Don't look at all the things you might see that don't belong. Mostly I spray in here, but, you know, things happen. Take it outside sometimes because it's a little better. So I'm going to use some Kitsch Flamingo, a little bit of Winterberry, if you can see that or not. This is the mica stain, so that will give a little bit of the, not just a spray, it'll give a little bit of shimmer. And I haven't used this yet, but I think I want to throw a little iron gate in there. Let's see how that looks. Now, I've done this a couple different times, and I've gotten different results, which is okay. I've got some different, but I wanted to show you what I usually do. If this one doesn't turn out to be my favorite, then I might use one of the other ones. We'll have to see. What I suggest is that if you're making this, usually I make a lot of it at one time, a lot of different ones, and let them dry, and then figure out which one I like. If you're wondering how I choose colors, kind of like how I pick out clothes, whatever suits me for the mood, you know. I just kind of go, hey, that seems like fun. So I do shake it up. I watched all the Tim Holtz videos and know you're supposed to shake, especially the mica ones, because there's a little ball in there and you're supposed to shake it until the ball, hear it? You're supposed to shake it until you hear that noise and then shake it a little bit more and then you're ready to go. So that's what we're doing. And then I'll spray a little bit and make that on the bottom. I do have regular 110-pound, nothing fancy paper in here. It's just plain old paper. You could use watercolor paper, and that'd be great, but I found this works really well because I'm going to end up having to possibly cut this or die cut it. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, so I want to make sure I have the option to cut around it if I want. There's some pink. I like those colors in there. Look at the, could you see the little splotches? I like those. And then finally the Winterberry, which again, you want to get that sound going. because that sound will be very important. All right, I like those colors a lot, and I think I've got pretty good coverage. I'm not sure if I want to add water or not. You can add water if you want to see it move a little bit more, but I kind of like that coverage. I might not add very much water, just a little bit, and see how it goes. Sometimes I add a lot of water, but I'm liking the way this looks. So we might just leave it, or maybe I'll put just a little bit more of the Klitsch Flamingo on top to make sure that it has an overall pinkness to it. But I do like those. That's a really good one. I'm very happy with that. I think it'll look good. I have a Tim Holtz platform that I use for stamping. I have a little separate area that I usually do it in, but it's not set up yet for being able to emboss or stamp over there. So I had to bring all the ingredients over here. Hopefully that'll change at some point, and I'll be able to figure out how to do this over there. That would be great. All right, so I'm going to put down my little robot in the pink spot. This is all good and dry, which is good. I'm going to use some Versamark because I really like Versamark a lot. I think Versamark's very good. But before I do, I'm going to remember to put a little bit of this powder on here so it doesn't stick in places I don't want it, especially when you just finished doing something that may not be completely dry. That could be a problem. So always remember to do that. Or if you're like me, remember to do it when, if you can see me over here doing this, probably not. It's a little tight right here. But we're going to do this and move on, so I think it'll be okay. There we go. Versamark. Hopefully all over my little robot. I'm going to put a second layer on just to hopefully make sure he comes out okay. I usually, yeah, I'll say that and it'll be bad, but I usually have pretty good luck with Versamark. Now I do have one of these little things, and what I did is I put a rubber bottom, or it's kind of a, it's not rubber where it would stop, it slides, on top of this little gem that I found at a thrift store. Put some beads in there because it makes fun noise and it kind of makes me happy. I feel like I have a very unique tool right there. That's kind of fun. And hopefully we'll be able to see our little guy come to life now. Let's see. One of the things I really like about embossing, like everybody else, is seeing the image come to life when you're embossing it. It's kind of cool how it comes alive. People call it the gateway drug to crafting. And anybody who's ever embossed anything knows why. So now I'm going to get out my embossing gun. And my embossing gun is pretty loud, so I'm going to go ahead and emboss it. Cut this out using a die so it's nice and even. It looks like it's been torn, and I can't do that on my own, so here we go. And then I also cut it out so you get the same thing with this foam that has a sticky back on it. So, but we need to decorate this first because I'm not just going to let this guy live like this. So what I did is I brought out these tri-blends that I have, and I got this one, I don't even remember where I got it from, but I remember I got it separate from my whole group that I bought. The black group is the group, the black one here is the group I bought. This gray one came as a, hey, try this out. And it's called, they're both called Bright Pink Blend, which is fun because they're not really the same colors, as you can see by looking at that. But just the same, I'm going to try to use them and see how we go with it. I think what I want to do, and I'm not a coloring expert, here's what I do. I tend to do dark around the outsides and around things where I think there should be a shade, and then I make it a little lighter on the inside. So I'm going to start here. This one has a different kind of brush on the end of it, where that one does not. It has the other kind of nib. So this is much darker, you'll see, than that one was. So I'm just going to go ahead and go around it with the dark. It's much darker, actually. Again, I am not a color person. I like to color, but I'm not very good at it. So if you need to see someone, there are a lot of tutorials and people who are very good at it. I do kind of the basic version of it. So here's what I was thinking. I was thinking his or her. I guess it could be a her. I don't know why I thought it was a he all this time. It could be a her. She's going to have some a pinker belly, and that's my plan for her, because that's where we're going to put that really cool looking conversational heart. So I'm going to put this inside here because I like that idea. I might get out a little silver or something to go in there, but I want this to mainly be pink, so you get the idea that it's a pink robot. This is not a rough, tough robot. This is a kind robot with a heart. As you'll see, I'm going to give her a heart. So when she has a heart, she should be considered a kind robot because she's got a heart. Isn't that kind of like when the in the Wizard of Oz, right? The Tin Man, wasn't the Tin Man the one who needed the heart, right? So if you're made out of tin and such, people assume you don't have a heart. But contrary to popular belief, she is going to have a heart in the end. So there you go. All right, I like this nib better that's got the little, I don't know, it's probably because I'm used to coloring with markers and things, but I do like it a little bit better. But what's nice is you can kind of mix and match them. Again, I got that one. It's just weird that they're said they're the same color, and I don't see them being the same color, but it's okay. Maybe they are the same color, but it comes out different just because of the nib, you know. All right, let's get these legs and the feet. We got to make sure we have some nice feet down there at the end with some darkness on them. I'm going to go around here. This is like a little, like shorts or something, right? So let's get on the inside of that. Okay, and the feet. So this is kind of like as if you had pink metal and you made something out of pink metal. This is what it would be like. All right, so now I'm going to get a little bit of silver. I do want some silver, and I have a ice gray, it's called an ice gray blend. And this ice gray blend tends to look a lot more like metal than, but you know, then again, the background, because the background is pink, you kind of see a little bit of that through, but I like that. That's good. That looks metally enough for me. All right, I'm going to color this, although I don't think we're going to see much of it. I'll check in a minute to see how much we'll see, so in case I need to color more. We're going to put these These arm little guys will have that. And then we're going to go around here. Let's go around here with the darker color. So that really should, whoop, wrong one. The thing with the tri-blend, you either get the light or the dark. You usually got to check. Because otherwise you'll end up with the wrong one. And boy, if you want something light and you get it dark, it's not fun. Ask me how I know. All right. I've got some this here. It's cold here. You probably should have a hat on, but I don't think it's going to get any warmer by Valentine's Day. So I have this idea to make this little guy and then a little treat bag to go with him. And I think that'll be fun. So let me take a look at this and see. So if we use, I kind of don't want to use a pink one, but let's see what we have here. XOXO though would be cute, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah, that's kind of cute in there, isn't it? But then, what if we use like love in the blue? It does help that she likes pink, which is kind of, but it's got the pink on the inside. Maybe I should put some blue. Maybe I'll put some blue right here. And then that, oops, would be a good one. Let's see how that looks. It's not really the best blue to match that. Part of it is, again, it's on this background. Do something with it to make it maybe have that blue somewhere else in the card. So maybe when I do my stenciling, I'll try to bring some of that blue in. Maybe that's an idea for the stenciling, to do blue and pink like this color here. We'll try to match it up and see how it goes. I have this Wendy Vecchi Make Art, but I'm not going to tape it down this time. I'm going to use these very strong magnets and see how this works for us. Usually it works pretty well. It's like I've never done it before, but you know, things happen. I'm also going to use these are Gina K and Stamperia as my blending brushes for this, because I do want a lighter, more soft background. And we'll see how this goes. Try to match up our little heart here pretty well. And what I ended up with was speckled egg oxide and worn lipstick. So that's what we're going to go with. We're going to see how it goes. And if it goes well, then I'll look like a genius. And if it doesn't, I'll fall back on she's only 2 years old. It'll be okay. Which is nice when you're making your audience, making cards for your audience and their little kids. You mainly just want them to find them to be fun and exciting. And she's at the age where almost everything is fun and is exciting. So I don't have a hard audience on this one. However, I have some more cards coming up that I may have more difficult audiences for, but we'll see. All right, so that's getting a little dark in some places, which I kind of like. I'm going to move this magnet over, and hopefully you can see this. I've got this new setup here, and a little confused as to what you can and cannot see now. I thought you could see all the way down here. All right, there we go. It's the hardest thing is to get used to not being able to see everything exactly where you want it to be so you can see the best. Got to make sure that the camera has the best angle. And then that there's enough that you can see so you're not going to mess up somehow. Which I could do regardless of where I'm at, so, All right. I like these brushes, but because I started using the harsher, blending brushes, I always kind of think I'm not getting anything on them. So I would advise not thinking that, because what I tend to do then is take off the mask and find out that, or the stencil in this case, and find out that I've been way heavy-handed. So I would advise you, if you're trying this out, to be careful of that. And one of the things I really like about this Make Art station is the fact that it makes it very easy. I do have a little sticky mat underneath it to keep it on my glass mat from moving, but I really like it. I feel like, oh, this is a thing I'm supposed to use when I stencil, and for the most part I do, and I'm pleased with it. Not advocating everyone go out. What I'm advocating is, if you like it, if you're looking for something and you haven't found it yet, you might like it. I think everyone should use whatever they're comfortable with. And that's the thing about crafts that I really like, is no two people are alike, you know? Everybody likes different things, and even if you have similar likes to somebody, you know, they may come out with something and you go, I don't even like that at all. And that's okay, you know? That's okay. All right, now the real test comes when we take a look at it, right? All right, so I'm gonna hold this. Actually, you can always find, oh, see? I was pretty heavy-handed in some places, huh? I think it looks pretty good, though. Is the color close enough? I think so. I think it'll get the point across. All right, let's move over to the worn lipstick that we're gonna put on top for the details. So here's the one. This one's a little more troubling to me. Should be easy to line up, and it is, because you have these guys, these little straight guys. You can kind of look through and see where they're supposed to go. And then you can see it's all in the right spot. I think it looks pretty good. All right, let's give it a try. Let's start with them on all of them. But this one, you got to be even more careful, because, you know, maybe I should go with no, I'm going to try this. Let's try it and see how it goes. If I don't like it, that's the best thing about, you can always go back and do it again. It's just paper. There's another side to this paper that I'm using, and that other side could be the place I end up on, because now I'm thinking I should have just used a darker color, darker blue or something for these, not the pink. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It seemed like a good idea in my head, and I'm trying it out right here with you to see, because to me, if I do it all ahead of time, you know, what's the point in that? I'm not here to show you everything that works. I'm here to take you along on my journey and show you what I'm doing, and, you know, hopefully it creates some sort of creativeness in you, and you go, hey, I don't have that thing, but I have something like that, and I never thought to use it that way. Or, you know, that was a good idea, and I'm going to do this to it, because that's what I think inspiration is all about, right? So it's not about me doing I'm not running a class here. I'm just showing you what I'm doing in my craft room, and hopefully you enjoy seeing how other people do things in their craft room. That's what I always like to watch, is just what are other people doing with the supplies. And, you know, I may not always have or always be using supplies that are even available, and that's okay, because I think we should use our supplies as much as possible and get the most use out of them, and not necessarily, you know, use them just because they're the latest, greatest supplies out there. That's not what I'm about. I like to use what I have, and I've got a whole bunch of things I plan on using. And even if you can't find it right now, you can find something like it. So if you don't have a robot, you might have something else, an animal or something else in your craft room that you can use. In this particular one, you really can use any kind of focal point. All right, let's see what I did. Oh, I like it. I'm not opposed to that one bit. I like the way it came out. Actually, it's way better than I was getting really worried here for a minute. But I like it. And we're going to cut this off, so I'm not worried about that. That's why I didn't put any tape on it, because I'm not worried about the pink. I almost want to put it back and go around with the pink, but I see it's not straight. But still, it might be kind of cool looking. You know, that's an option, right? So if you put this back on here just like this, and then you go around with your same pink that you had, you could get a nice little line going around, and instead of cutting it off. But you see how that looks? You got a nice straight line there, then you can cut just right along it, and we'll give that a try, and I'll cut it down and bring it back over, and we'll reassess. There we go. I like that. I don't mind the the sides. I like it. I'm just a little concerned because of size. I believe this is a 6x6, and I think that's going to mess up our sizing for our card. But I'm not too concerned about it yet. Let's see what we have here. So we have this guy going to go along here, and put that on there. It's not all attached yet, but that's where we're at. Then we're going to put this and this. So here's my idea. We're going to use this to make a nice little circle, and this to make a nice little, oh, and that little bear in there would be just adorable. All right, so I think we're going to make it down here and put this one up here. So my idea is I am going to do something I saw from May. And what May did is she cut it herself. And you can obviously use a straight knife or a blade knife or whatever you have, even scissors, and cut it out and leave just the area over here straight. But I think we're going to make these cuts here, and then I'll be back. All right, let's see what we have here. So here is our door, a little door that we can open up. It's creased right there. This part here, I don't know if you can see that or not, it's got a little crease in it, and if you look at it, see if I can get this underneath there, you can see there's a little crease right there. And if you can see that crease, that's what that die did, is it made a crease. This one on the other, oh, look at how cute he is. This one on the other hand made a complete hole. But if I can get this off, part of the reason we wanted that, hopefully it's the right size to put our little guy in here, like this. Okay, now I've had a new idea. So in this die set, this circle is made so that you can use it with these guys, and then you can use these domes on top. So what I was thinking was, you know, what would be nice is if I kind of made it look like a little candy machine, and I put this base over here, and then put this around it, and then when we put these little guys in it, it'll look like a little candy machine. So I was thinking that might be good. So I'm going to try that out and see how it looks. And then I thought, oh, you know what? Should use this, because we're tying it in with our robot, and go around, not this one, because this one's going to go underneath here, but we're going to use this one. And it should just fit, which is nice. Nice when things barely work out. And then we'll put this one with more of the pink that doesn't have quite as much in it. And I think that'll look pretty good, especially if we put this on the outside here. And then, okay, so I cut these out. We got this one to go around there. Let's see, I could have used this one underneath it, I guess, if I want to. I might still, I'm not sure. It might be a good idea, actually, rather than using this whole square, because I could use this to make another robot if I wanted. It's the right size, so I may do that. It's not a bad idea, especially if I can get another one out of here. We'll see. And then what I think we want to do with this is make this a little darker so you can see it better. So what I'm going to do is bring out picked raspberry, because that's a darker pink. And then we'll just make this a darker pink as an accent on it. And then be able to, if it'll turn over, be able to glue it on there with that. I think that'll look nice as an accent. Maybe even go around here. Little accent piece. I like the darker pink as a around the outside border, the darker color. And we probably want to do that with our, while I've got it out, with our robot. I also want to give our robot some highlights with some white gel pen, because I think that always kind of finishes them off. I think we'll wait till the very end to do that. Brave, right? Okay, so here's our robot. What we have is this, and what I think I want to do is put this down here like this. So maybe I want to put this down first. I think that would be make it easiest. Okay. All right, so it has this little two-sided tape on the back of it, and we're okay because we still have a hole open. Don't close up that hole and not have your things inside and ask me how I know that one, because yep, done that one too. Done that more than once, actually, where I think in my mind, oh, I need to do this, 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 and this to make a shaker. And the next thing you know, I've got a shaker that not only doesn't shake, it doesn't even come close to shaking. I think we're going to have to leave that in there. I put it down a little bit sooner than I didn't realize it was that sticky. But apparently it sticks really well. Hopefully that'll be okay. But I think it's pretty good. So I'm pretty much happy with it. And that's what really matters. Because we do this a lot of times just for the sake of crafting is you know, it's fun. It should be fun. If you're stressing about it and you're getting all worked up about it and you're not having fun, there's really no point. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a way to, you know, relieve a little stress and enjoy your time in the craft room, which is what I like to do. I like to enjoy my time. I spend a lot of time in my craft room doing things like, oh, wait, let me look at this. And oh, now let me... Making a video from start to end on one is hard for me, because I'm used to kind of... I wouldn't say I work in batches. I would say I work in starts and stops. You know, Tim Holtz always talks about, you know, doing batch work and stuff, but I just do it where I do a little bit here and a little bit there of this, and then like I might leave this little card sitting here for 3 days and then come back to it. Where if I'm making a video, I kind of feel the need to do it all and get it done in one day. So I don't know. We'll see how that works for me. I might have to go back to, because it's really hard if you put a bunch of different pieces of a video in your phone and then you're trying to find it all. That's the reason you don't want to do that, really. Have too much of that going on. All right, so now we got this nice little frame around it. It kind of looks like it belongs there. I like that. And what basically it is it makes it look like a little jar of candy sitting there, which is what I wanted. All right, I'm happy with that. Now, I brought out May's stamp set, which is, if you're going to make things that do things, it's a good idea. So it's got a little one called Lift. This one is, I don't remember the name of this set, but it gets sold out all the time because it's got all the good things. Spin, pull, shake, slide, side, out, push, things that you need to do. And it also has place photo here, which is really nice if you're making any kind of photo item and you're not sure people will understand where to put it. So I'm gonna make this. I decided that the best option I had was, I have a Gina K medium carnation, which I think will be pretty close. I could try it out and see. What fun would that be? No, I would much rather suffer through doing it wrong and having to do something else, apparently. Now let's try it out over here. So this says, and the other thing is I gotta make sure I'm saying lift the right way because it's such a small stamp. I have a hard time. That's perfect. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna put this right on here so that if, I know a 2-year-old can't read, I get that, but her parents can. So there we go. It says lift now. Pretty happy with that. All right, and this size is an unusual size now because I did the whole thing. I was going to cut it down, but that seemed difficult to do until I found out where it was going to sit. So what I'm going to do is, it's the right length right now, and I'm going to adhere it, fix it the way I want, and then turn it over and cut it off. And then do the sides with the pink. I think that's an easier way to do this because otherwise I think something might go wrong. We'll see. But so far I'm liking the way it's turning out. And I was thinking, you know, I don't really think I want anything else in there. I want these to be the star of that. So I'm going to leave these, I'm going to leave that white in the back. I like that idea. However, I'm not so sure about this, if there'll be enough room to put a little bit of money in there. I'm not sure yet how to do that. I think I'm going to glue around it and just leave that opening so that the money can be put in there, because it only has to be put in and taken out once. I mean, it doesn't have to go in and out 100 times. So what I think I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to be brave and attach this here and put my guys in here. So this is called mix-ups. I don't know. I got this from one of the boxes that I got, and it was from Kindred Stamps. So I don't know if you have to go to their website to get it or if other people have it. I'm not really sure, but I kind of liked it because it has little hearts. And for Valentine's Day, that looks pretty cool to me. So here we go. Let's put some of these in here. Just enough to make it fun, my plan. There we go. All right. Make sure I go right around here, not so much around here. In fact, I'm going to try and make it like this so that I have room to put that money in there. So let's give it a try and see how we do. That's a new one for me. Okay. And then I'm going to put this down here. So it goes all the way down. And what I'm going to do then is I'm going to put on here, I'm going to put the tape. I put the glue on there. I'm going to put the tape around the outside of this. Now this is a little bit of heavier paper, and I did that so it could hold up the weight of it. And I thought that would be a good plan, but we could put this right around the outside so I know it's getting, the outside is getting a pretty good amount. All right, now what I'm going to try to do now, this is the top. Since I know what it looked like here, it should go right on here and here. And get out my bone folder here. Yeah. Yep, and I did it wrong. Okay, well, now it's this kind of a card. It was going to be an up and down card, so it would sit like this. But I don't think I can get it off of here. And unfortunately, I'm not willing to try. So I think I'm going to be okay with it being a sideways card. I think it'll be fine. So I'm going to take this over and cut this off. All right, so now it is a sideways card. Sideways, I guess I could call it by the proper term, horizontal card as opposed to a vertical card. And that's okay, or landscape as opposed to. And I cannot do both of these at once. This paper is just too thick, but I can do one at a time and make this a nice rounded edge. So and I'll do the rounded edge, and then I'll get out our picked raspberry and go around the edge with it before I put my there we go. I mean, this is fun. Look at these balls in there, huh? I like it. And it's got the hearts. Yeah, it's fun. Okay, so I think I decided I was going to do this before because this is soft. So before I put them on, I'm going to take out my white pen and I'm going to give them some highlights. So I'm going to put a little highlight here. I'm going to put some highlights in his eyes, a little bit of highlights across here. On here, what this does is it makes it a little more dimensional, and it makes things look like they're round when they're not, like balloons and things like that. I just like the way it looks, and especially when you have a darker color, it tends to make it look just a little nicer. So if you haven't done it before, you almost can't go wrong. What I try to do is think about where if the sun is going to be on one side, the sun or the light, whatever, is going to be on one side. I try to keep it on that one side, you know, so I don't put it on this side and that side. I just put it on the one side because to me, then that's the side that the light is hitting on it and making it look a little bit white. So yeah, I won't put it on both sides, but if it's on the top, then it can be on the top. And if you miss a spot, it's okay. Maybe that spot is, you know, a little bit down. It's okay. But I just think it gives it some depth and kind of makes it look a little neater. And like underneath here, that would be dark. So I wouldn't put it there. Could it be there? Sure, it could. If you put it there, I don't think it's going to take away from it. It just makes it look a little bit more dimensional, and that's what we want. All right, so this I told you it has the backing on it, but I'm going to save the backing for this one. I'm going to go ahead and glue him onto here. Again, I'm using probably, I think I'm using art glitter glue in here. I say that because I have barely art glue, I have art glitter glue, and I've got Gina K Connect glue. in all the ones I currently have out. And if I remember right, that's what's in there. But sometimes I start second guessing myself, and maybe not. Maybe that's not what's in there. I like all of them. The only thing I know for sure is that our glitter glue adheres the fastest. And I mean, it gives you sometimes almost no time before it adheres. So if you want something to adhere quick, it's definitely what I would do. But it is definitely not what you want if you want some wiggle room, because the wiggle room is just not there. All right, probably should have let that white pen dry a little bit longer, but it's okay. Okay. Now you can add more embellishments to this if you want, but because I'm putting this heart on here, I want this and the heart, you know, I want that to be most of the show that we're doing here. I don't want it to be too many things going on, although it's already, people could argue already that there's a lot going on here, and I would agree with them. All right, so now I'm going to put him down. I'm going to try and put him somewhere in the middle here. Trying to keep him kind of straight. Her. I don't know why I keep calling the robot a him. I mean, she obviously is a her. And then we're going to put her heart inside of her, because if this doesn't stay, I'll check on it. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to stay there, I will put hot glue or some other kind of glue on it to hold on. All right. And again, I am giving my granddaughter this in person, so it's not a matter of it going through the mail, because this would never happen. So I'm definitely going to be handing this to her. But so far, I really like this. Well, thanks so much for joining me for this Valentine's Day card. I hope you enjoyed watching as I struggled to make this come out looking pretty cute for a 2-year-old girl. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.